welcome to a very special episode of Same But Different. This is Philip.
This is Derek.
Welcome to our villa.
Yes, we are still in Bintan. This is the garden villa. We've gotten ourselves an upgrade, and we will be recording our second episode on the same topic of being gay.
And drinking champagne while doing that.
Yes,
Cheers.
This is a lovely champagne.
What are we having today?
We are having the Krug 2004.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Right. So, our earlier episode, we talked about how we are gay. We came out of the closet.
Correct.
And how, as individuals, we have thoughts and behaviors before coming out. I would like to just talk a little bit more about how it feels like to be gay in Singapore. Yeah, obviously because I was away from Singapore for a good 12, 13 years after I've come out. So it takes a little bit of perspective away from me
Yes.
of how it feels like to be gay in Singapore. Yeah, I think I will need to rely on Derek to provide more information on that.
Yes, I will do that.
And for myself, because I've been overseas, I can actually share a little bit more about how it feels like to be gay in Vietnam, in Shanghai, and Hong Kong. Having been based there for a couple of years, I can share some of the insights as well as some of the observations I've seen about the gay scene over there.
A lot of what I'm going to be sharing now is going to be based on personal experience. So don't come for us. Our experiences are always valid, and we will then form opinions based on that, really.
Correct. It is not exactly a historical, archival sort of exploration with us. It's just us sharing how it was growing up in the early 2000s all the way until now, being, I think, about 20 years of being gay.
That's
thereabouts,
right.
at least.
And I'm glad you brought this term called history, because we don't really have an official history of gayness in Singapore. A lot of it is, pardon the pun, oral history. So it's what people tell me and what I'm going to tell all of you. And this is basically based on my experiences. So I just have to keep emphasizing that.
Yeah, it's nothing very factual, but maybe we can start with our days of being gay in Singapore,
Yes.
right? So we've come out fairly late,
Correct.
in the early 2000s.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And that also is the time before 377A was repealed. We have grown up to be straight acting.
Yes.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that after we've come out it's any easier.
Correct. There will be this straddling between being gay, being true to yourself, or rather to your gay identity, versus dealing with the rest of the world that's still predominantly heterosexual, of course. So that balancing act really is quite characteristic of how the early 2000s were. In popular culture and in mass media, being gay is still not widely accepted.
Yes.
There was no productive conversation around what is being gay in Singapore, and they're just very stereotypical and cliched portrayals of gay characters in popular culture in Singapore. We can only live our truths and our reality in different spaces that exist in Singapore. Of course, the only gayborhood really was Neil Road in Chinatown / Tanjong Pagar, right? So that whole stretch of bars, clubs, and pubs that basically constitute safe spaces for gay men here in Singapore.
We haven't talked about the gay scene here in Singapore. It's unavoidable to talk about some of the activities that we do, clubbing being one of them. Of course, there are other things that gay men do. They hold book clubs.
Yes.
They go for healthy activities like badminton,
Dragon boating,
choir,
for that matter, yes.
That's correct. So we are not going to talk on all of those simply because we did not partake in any of them.
That's correct. So there are such organizations where gay men can engage in non-sexual and healthy activities.
Wholesome activities.
Yes.
But we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about clubbing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The nightlife, so to speak.
So, having been in Singapore for longer than I am,
yes,
how would you say the clubbing scene has progressed, if you will, over the last 20 years or so?
Yeah, I think there are two major developments that I want to talk on, again, based on my own experiences. So at the start, gay nightlife being non-mainstream but very exciting means that straight clubs always hold gay nights, typically on Sunday nights. And there are such legendary nights and venues like Venom in what is now currently Pacific Plaza and Orchard Road. And again, some other places where typically on a Sunday, because straight people have to go to work, right? It's a school night. So the gay people take over and they have a jolly good time on a Sunday night. So I would say that's basically how gay clubbing started, I think. And after that, eventually, as there are more there are more gay people happily and proudly showing their pink dollar strength, gay clubs then become so that, I would say, is one transition that's really worth noting when we talk about the gay scene in Singapore. The second one is really when we grew strength to strength and started holding our own gay circuit parties. And I think for those who are old enough to remember the Nation franchise, those that happened in Suntec City Convention Center and even over in Sentosa, when we have international guests, gay men, flying into Singapore, again flexing their pink dollar and really enjoying themselves here in Singapore. Unfortunately, when something like that captures headlines, there will be public concerns, and under the guise of public health issues, I believe the nation parties were then not granted the permits to continue. So that, I think, brought an end to this era of circuit parties happening in Singapore. So I would say at least up till the early 2010s, those would be the two major developments specifically in gay night scene.
Well, I'd like to maybe just discuss a little bit more about what you say when the specific gay nights happening on Sundays in straight clubs.
Yes.
I would like to say that could not be unique to Singapore. It could have happened in any other countries.
Correct.
But the choice of date is quite special on Sunday. I've been to one or two of them when I'm back in Singapore.
Yep.
While I was based overseas, right? So the experience is quite unique in the sense that you don't have to work the following day, or maybe some of the people who were there have to, but they chose to still burn the candles on both ends.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes. That's what gay people do.
So it is something that is very special. And what is also special is that it is happening in tandem with what we have in New Road.
Yes, that's correct.
Of course, yes. Back then, it's still the usual, the Grandonians, the taboos, the tantrics, right? Although there are new players that came up, like Play.
Yes.
So I would say that weekends are very colorful to be here in Singapore.
I would say the early 2000s, 2010s was the peak of gay clubbing, because I think that's when, again, even if being gay still was at the peripherals and margins of popular culture, we were able to create the spaces to enjoy and to really feel safe while seeking solace, if you will.
Seeking solace within a community is one very important part of growing up as gay. But what is unique, at least about us, is that we don't have any close gay friends.
That's correct. Yes. It's an interesting observation, Philip. And back to the point about friendships, right? Friendship takes work. That's why they say you cultivate friendships. They don't just happen, right? So in the gay scene, I'm sure some of our listeners and viewers are gay, and some of them may have gay friends. But I would say that must have taken a lot of work, because I'm the cynical bitch here, and I always like to think that the gay, specifically the male gay scene here in Singapore, is a cesspool. People are trying to fuck you, or they're trying to scam you. So again, you can call me a negative Nancy, you can call me a bitter Betty, I don't care. But my experiences have been like that. So I've actively chosen not to partake in any form of friendship maintenance exercise, if you will.
So it is a classic case of you being hurt by the community that you would like to embrace, you tried to embrace, and yet.
Yeah, because look to clubs week in, week out, right? You will see familiar faces, and eventually some people, even though they are in cesspool, might actually be nice. So I hold that view of friendships, genuine friendships in the gay circle to be an exception, not the norm. So I have exceptional friends, not many, definitely less than 5 who are gay. But I think besides that, I really don't see why I should bend over backwards when I already have enough friends.
Okay, let's just say this is you.
This is me.
Just
Yes.
is just
Me,
because of
my
you.
truth.
Yes.
My truth.
This is your truth, right? So for the current generation, is there some sort of sense of community that they can look forward to then?
Interesting point you should bring that up, Philip,
Yeah.
because I think what we keep getting bombarded by in popular media is that young people, okay, saying that makes me old, makes me feel old,
So
but
don't say that.
younger people actually experience anxiety connecting with people in real life. So, of course, regardless of whatever platform, whether it's through gay dating apps or whatsoever, right, they may be making friends. But it doesn't change the fact that they're trying to connect within the community. And maybe they have it luckier. I'm making an assumption here. My hypothesis now is that they have it easier because the environment may be less prohibitive compared to 20 years ago. Now that they are in a more quote unquote relaxed environment, living their truth as queer youths, whatever they fall into in terms of the alphabets of LGBTQIA+, they will be able to find someone who identifies similarly. And if both parties make the effort, or facilitated by any of these organizations that are actually doing good work here in Singapore, they can build their community.
The point about connection is very real, especially in these days when we have social media. So I believe that's one of the very few benefits that came out from social media where, for example, a trans person will need to know that there are other trans people out there and they can connect very easily with them. This is not unique to this generation. In our generation, we also have websites like Travi and Friday, very big personals website. That is the evolution from public cruising, public toilets and parks and swimming pools,
Right.
to online spaces where
Yes,
you
correct.
try to make friends.
Yeah, fundamentally digital forums, if you
Yeah,
will.
again, those are the precursors of the digital apps that we have today, the Grinders and the Jacked and Scruffs,
Or whatever.
right? So it seems that it's easier to meet people, whether it's for friendship or any other agenda on the list.
That's
right?
right. Moving from the topic of friends to friends with benefits, we have to talk about sex.
Yes. Well, of course, not in graphic details.
Of course not.
Not in graphic details, but we are talking about sex in,
Sexual spaces.
yes, correct, sexual spaces, specifically saunas.
That's correct.
So our experiences in saunas, again in the early 2000s, it was quite colorful. We are not above saunas. We recognize if the streets can have their legal brothels in Geylang, why can't we have our gay saunas with dark rooms and mazes for us to satisfy our own carnal urges?
I definitely agree with that, Philip. And I think that, of course, I was not involved in the decision of setting up saunas in Singapore. I'm not that high up in the hierarchy. But I think allowing these spaces where men can do their dirty deeds in relatively clean and traceable spaces, that is really important from a public health and public order maintenance perspective, because again, as we were talking about earlier, back in the day when there wasn't any outlet for anybody to engage in sex in the first place, unless you have your own place, it's public toilets and parks and swimming pools and go downs, warehouses. It's just not a dignified way of living when carnal desires are natural.
Yeah, compare all of that spaces to one where it's relatively cleaner, more comfortable.
It's monitored, it's managed, it's registered. Why not?
It's a gentleman's club. It's on some levels safer than having to deal with perhaps sting operations for back in those days when
Correct.
you never know whether the person sucking your dick is a cop or not.
Exactly. So I think for many reasons then, even though gay sex between men was only
Recently
decriminalized
decriminalized, yeah.
last year, we may have had these places called saunas/bathhouses that fundamentally stands for this one eye shut approach to allowing gay men to have their fun, so long as we are aware of how to manage that process.
The part about how it has flourished before
Yes.
to now, unfortunately, I think there's only about 3 or 4 left, serving very
yeah.
specific clientele. It feels like it is going through a
A bit of a correction right now.
yes.
How much
where
do you think, Philip, is this correction due to the fact that the dating apps are doing a great job of pushing people away from saunas and like fucking each other in the digital realm?
not so much. Saunas have very specific clienteles where some people will swear by it, some people will definitely stay away from it.
Correct. Never.
It's serving a very specific market of regulars and clienteles, which obviously, looking at very number-driven data, there are less and less of them. Because the people who go to saunas are of our generation, maybe the ones before.
Correct.
They have somehow lessened in the number of patrons.
Basically, Philip is saying that they're dying. They're slowly dying out.
Yeah. Of course, there are younger people who found the virtues of going to a sauna,
Yes.
but not enough
Correct.
to at least drive the numbers back up again. A mix of purely commercial as well as functional needs.
Do we have to make our saunas great again?
Maybe. We have been to 1 or 2 great ones.
Yes.
Yes, the heydays of saunas.
Correct.
Maybe it is time
Yeah.
to bring back the good ones.
Make our saunas great again.
Yeah. So sauna is another area where, when we talk about gay culture in Singapore, is
Yes, it's basically an indelible part of our gay history, our gay oral history.
yes, they are. What other areas of Singapore gay scene have we not touched on? Do you think that we can even think about?
Since we were talking about the dating app, I think
Yeah.
there's this need to kind of acknowledge how gay Singapore men specifically have evolved by way of different perspectives and opinions, right? And this, of course, is always a relative discussion. Singapore men are more this or more that in relation to our Malaysian gay men, our Thai gay men, our Indonesian gay men. So again, keeping the conversation regional. Again, once again, my personal opinion, or anecdotally speaking, we've always heard a couple of complaints about Singaporean gay men.
Correct.
That they are A, self-entitled, B, fairly holier than thou, and C, tend to be prawns.
And D, they dress badly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay, contextually speaking, when I say they dress badly, it's based on what we've seen when we go clubbing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the earlier days where, well, first of all, there won't be a problem because they'll mostly be shirtless in clubs.
So the few occasions when they are wearing something, they can be visibly seen to be gay. Again, back in the 2000s, these clubs and the night scene are patronized by gay men who are flamboyant, and they know that this is their one opportunity to signal to other gay men that, hey, look at me, I'm gay, I'm hot. So you should dress gaily. That's not a proper word, but as gay as possible, so that you show people what your mama gave you.
What's ironic is that there is a stronger diversity here when it comes to the gay population who are more willing to express themselves, and yet we're not seeing it. Okay, the only areas that can reflect that is how they behave and how they dress, right?
That's correct.
There are a lot of pop-up events these days that encourages self-expression.
Yes.
So probably we're not going to those where we are seeing more self-expression. The ones that we go to, the guys are expressing themselves in a way that, oh, I'm Uniqlo fans.
Yeah, or very heteronormative.
Yeah.
We observe this and we don't understand why younger gay men these days are dressing like they're straight friends. Are you so self-hating as a gay person that you don't want to show your gayness through your dressing, even in the gay space, or that you felt that, you know what, I'm beyond this. You are taking a more philosophical approach and say that just because I'm gay, I don't have to dress gaily. Gaily is not a word, but okay.
It could be mask for mask, right? That's always
Oh
a thing.
yes, that's that.
thing.
Look at me, I'm dressing so straight and masculine.
Yeah, you like straight guys, right? Again, I really like to think that there are areas, there are events out there where they could be dressed more colorful.
Actually, true. So
Yes.
there are a couple of these social events. Again, daytime, not nighttime, where I think over the past 3 years or so, after the COVID restrictions have been lifted, a lot of community events where we see queer people, we see gay people, we see businesses, small businesses, grassroots initiatives being supported by like fairs and gay pasamalams, if you will. And yeah, you do see all colors and shades of people dressing gaily, dressing like actual gay people.
Okay, we need to be a little bit more specific. I
Yes.
think it's the choice of colors. So the ones that we see, let's call them the new Uniqlo ones, tend to be in black, white, and gray.
And I think the other observation is that because they adopt mass fashion trends so strongly, your North Face t-shirts, your Balenciaga t-shirts, the oversized monochromatic, it's just too straight. This is your one opportunity to dress in a way that expresses one of your identities, i.e. you being gay. So why not do it?
Yeah, this is quite puzzling.
It
We've
is.
yet to crack the code.
This is
I think
incredibly puzzling.
probably the only likely explanation is that we are frequenting those places where we're more alike in a sense.
Alike.
Alike as in we are not the flamboyant kind. We are not the well.
Speak for yourself, Lep.
Okay, I'm not flamboyant, but at the very least, I am not afraid of colors. From what we can see at the parties that we've been, it's as though they are deathly afraid of colors.
And again, nobody's asking you to wear the entire rainbow on you. I mean, you're gay, you're not a rainbow flag. But go out there on a limb, you know. Pink is a color, fuchsia is a color, aquamarine is a color. Try that sometime.
Correct. Probably we need to go to those other events where they are more expressive. So
Right,
that may be better.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll see queer people who embrace their queerness and let their dressing do the talking.
That's correct. So going back to the point about the accusations about Singaporean men being prawns, being
Holier than
thou, being not giving or something.
Okay, don't like to use the word stuck up because it suggests that they really are. But the issue that we're dealing with on hand is the fact that I think gay people, specifically gay men in Singapore, being so oppressed, or rather self-oppressed, if you will, to the point where they need to find success markers. So once they convince themselves that, yes, I'm successful, yes, I am worthy, they forget that then that attitude cannot translate into how you deal with other people. And I say this in a very specific context, in the dating apps. My experience has been that whenever I'm on the dating app back in the day, when I go overseas, the reception and interaction that I experience on the dating app is very different to how it is here in Singapore.
That statement is in response to how people react to you or how you react and interact with other people in other countries.
I think it's the latter. That means when we engage in conversation or even the whole process of back and forth,
Yes.
the stuck-upness is not as apparent overseas.
Okay. And that is reflected in the kind of conversations that you have.
Yeah, in conversations and just the general process of trying to just get past the initial interrogation of trying to suss out. Look, dating apps fundamentally are a place where things are exchanged. If there's a match between what I need and what you need and vice versa, then it's a match. It's like the snatch game, right? If there's a fundamental match between what you need and what I need, then fine. We don't have to go down to the fucking attitude of, oh, I'm better than you, blah blah blah, you first. But all that shit, it's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. I'll say it one more time. It's fucking annoying.
So Singaporeans cannot stand Singaporeans, right?
Like gay men are always perpetrating violence towards gay men.
The most homophobic people are gay men.
Yes.
Self-loathing,
Yes.
especially the straight acting type.
Yes. We all know that.
Okay, so we might want to go into the part about overseas, our experiences overseas,
Yes.
but I think it is a bigger topic that we can probably unpack in the next episode, where we talk a little bit more about how we are same but different
Yes.
as gay men.
Correct. Across different geographies and cities.
Yeah, we are all gay men.
Yes, we are.
But the different part comes in the little nuances, like the little teaser that Derek gave us. How we
Interactions.
interact,
Yes.
how we
Interactions.
talk to each other is totally different. What is the scene over there? What's the culture over there? How do they behave? All of these are very exciting, and I do hope that our viewers and listeners can stay tuned for that.
Yes. Don't go away.
So until the next time, this has been Philip,
This is Derek.
and this is Same but different.
Different.
Do like us,
Share.
and subscribe to our channel. We will be adding more episodes through different channels in the very near future. All right?
Don't miss us too much.